but they finished off strong, and that's the important part. Our Philadelphia Phillies right now are 48-41 on the season. They currently, at the moment, are 12 games back of first place. They're sitting behind Atlanta and Miami here, and they are just half a game back of the San Francisco Giants for that final wild card spot. So they are in business. What can we really expect here in the second half? Obviously, there's been concerns all over the place, right? As far as pitching goes, obviously Wheeler starts off slow. He seems to be picking it up. Ranger Suarez injured in the beginning of the year. He came back. As of late, his last two starts weren't so great, but with kind of the mentality Ranger has, you trust him a little bit more. At least you could say you trust him more than what you can with Aaron Nola, right? And so Aaron Nola to me is the biggest concern out of the rotation. He's in a contract year as well, which is the crazy part about it. And obviously, the last outing, he gets rocked by some homers. And that's been the problem with Aaron Nola. The consistency, the completing of the games, and that's been the big issue here as Aaron Nola continues on his 2023 campaign. But I think the big surprise has been Taijuan Walker. I think he's been a big contributor in the rotation, solidified his spot as that fourth starter in the rotation. And that's been the best part about it. Now, the fifth starter has been the question mark. You were expecting Andrew Painter to be there. We still don't really know when to actually expect Andrew Painter in there. You had Matt Strahm there in that spot. Now you have Christopher Sanchez back in there, and he's done a solid job. But I don't know how much longer he's going to hold up to that. I mean, you even saw a guy like a Bailey Falter last year who did have that fifth spot for most of the season. You kind of saw how he fell off, and so how long can you kind of ride with Christopher Sanchez? The thing is, and to answer Jason's question here, Jason wanted to know about what do you think we do at the deadline? It's interesting because when I look at the hitting now, obviously pitching-wise, the main thing that they really need, I think the bullpen's fine. You're getting bodies back as well. Arenado now on the IL. We'll see when he comes back. 15 days, we'll revisit that. But as far as the hitting goes, you're really waiting for Bryce Harper to move to first base. We suffered that scare this last weekend in Miami, but he seems like he'll be fine. But if we can get Harper to move to first base, have Kyle Schwarber move to DH, and just have Castellanos and Schwarber rotate, I think that would be big. You see Christian Pache kind of stepping up over since before the All-Star break. He's a good glove out in center field. If you can get more out of that bat, that would be great. You slide Brandon Marsh over to left field, Christian Pache with Castellanos, Schwarber, whatever it may be, but getting Schwarber out of the outfield. Castellanos has been better, in my opinion, in the outfield, but if you can kind of have a little bit more of a rotation, not rely. That's the word I'm looking for. Not rely on guys like Castellanos and Schwarber in the outfield. That would be huge. It truly would be huge. And Bryce Harper, obviously we expect him out on the field by now, but that didn't work out per se. So we'll wait and see. But I do think that depth, especially in the outfield, is an important piece as well. Dombrowski's very aggressive, and that's one thing that we know. We've seen him been very aggressive here at Philly. We've seen him aggressive in the past as well. He's not scared of being aggressive, but it's not far-fetched to think that the Phillies can get a fifth starter piece in the outfield. It's not too far-fetched. I think that's really what they should be looking at. If not a depth piece in the infield, just some type of depth piece for batting. Pretty much, that's what this team is definitely looking for. But going forward, I do expect this team to continue kind of on the trajectory that they are. I do think that the Phillies team that we've seen over the last month is more of the Phillies team that we should expect to see. A team that can win in many different ways, whether it is a long ball, and you haven't hit a lot of home runs, and you are expecting more guys to hit some more home runs. Kyle Schwarber, sub 200 batting average, not really what we expected here. The June didn't go the way we thought it would, like in years prior, and it is what it is. But this team has shown you over the past month that they can win in many different ways. Obviously, the pitching will come around, and you do every now and then get some solid performances from Aaron Nola, and we've seen that in the past as well. But the other thing that I've seen a lot of as we near trade deadline time, Nolan Arenado linked to Philadelphia. And here's the thing. obviously would love Nolan Arenado. Like, who would not want Nolan Arenado? Here's the thing. I don't think that Nolan Arenado is necessary. And so, like, if we're talking about giving up prospects like Painter, I would consider McAple. But if we're talking about major prospects and players, I probably won't do it. I'd like Alec Boehm. Obviously, like, the thing is that would we actually consider this if Rhys Hoskins' power wasn't missing from the line? I really don't know. We know Nolan Arenado is one of those generational star talents in this league, but when you're talking about trades, it means you got to give up something to get something. Do we really want to give up something right now when we're not too far away? And I mean, like, if we saw the World Series, if anything, I think the power is already on this baseball team. Pitching's important. You saw what the Astros did. So I think that the pitching is more of a priority than getting a star player like Nolan Arenado. I get it. It's a big player. We in Philadelphia go goo gaga over big players, big name players. But I just think that you don't want to give up too much, especially when you have something going on. Like, chemistry is also very important. And these guys have chemistry. These guys definitely have chemistry and are fighting for one another. And so with that being said, I don't really see the need to give up a lot just to get a guy like Nolan Arenado. But we'll see what happens. You guys let me know in the comments if you guys are willing to give up whatever for Nolan Arenado. Another bit of news here. Today we actually got the announcement, the drop of the 2024 schedule, ladies and gentlemen. It's already out. It's crazy how, like, we're in the middle of a season and the schedule is already out. I do find that crazy. But here is the schedule. I mean, I'm not going to go over all these games because it's obviously 162 games that I cannot go through. But what is really cool, we're in the London series next year, guys, and they got us matched up against the Mets. So that does take away here. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, this would have been the Mets home game. Or maybe not. It's only 2 games. But it's cool. They have 2 days off before that, I guess, for travel, and then 1 day off after that, which probably should give them more days off because that's gonna suck with that jet lag. But that's gonna be next June 8th and 9th, a 2-game set in London against the Mets. That should be really fucking cool. As far as away trips here, we are in Minnesota this year, so definitely I might consider that. Simply because it's tough, especially tough to get to Minnesota for matches or for games in general, for sporting events, because it's fucking cold as shit in the winter in Minnesota. It's not often the Union are playing the Minnesota United in Minnesota as well. So that's definitely one I am intrigued by. A nice little trip to a midweek trip to Toronto would be cool. I've always wanted to drive up to Canada. I did it once when I was a kid. I would love to do it again. But there's some interesting matchups here that I'm definitely looking at here. Unfortunately, no. There's my big American trips that I'm trying to do, like cities that I'm trying to go see or states I'm trying to go see. I'm trying to go see Utah. I really want to go check out like Mount Zion and Salt Lake City, and I also want to go check out New Orleans. Me and my fiance have been eyeing that one up. So of course can't really do that with baseball because we don't have teams in those markets, those respected markets. So we shall see. But schedule's out, guys. So definitely start booking those trips. Philly sports trips. Where we at?